Excellencies, distinguished representatives of member states, honorable members of civil society organizations and of academia, ladies and gentlemen. The Geneva Centre extends to all of you its deep appreciation for so graciously participating in this side event, which we are fortunate to be organizing in cooperation with the Algerian Permanent Mission to the United Nations Office and to other international organizations in Switzerland. Indeed, I wish to salute, in particular, His Excellency Ambassador Delmi of Algeria, who shares this podium with us. We are gathered here today to discuss a matter of great urgency: the de-radicalization or the rollback of violent extremism. Earlier this year, the vital importance of this subject compelled the United Nations Secretary General and the State of Switzerland to hold a ministerial meeting on the 7th and 8th of April 2016 on the subject. In the opening speech of the Geneva Conference on Preventing Violent Extremism on 8th April, the Swiss Federal Chancellor, His Excellency de Baketel, challenged the audience with the following: "We need a clearer understanding of the phenomenon we are facing so that we can act on the factors that draw people, especially young people, to violent extremism." This present debate is intended to respond to the Minister's challenge and to zero in on the way forward by deepening our understanding of this phenomenon and related considerations. A question that dominates the discussion is worthy of consideration. Is radicalism the problem? Radical parties have existed in the West and elsewhere for decades, if not centuries. There is an important distinction to be drawn between radicals and terrorists. Radicals challenge orthodoxy with the notion of addressing what they believe to be a fossilized status quo or authorization regime and justify the consequences of their motives accordingly. Actions may result in violence, and blame for harm is frequently well deserved. It is undeniable, however, that often when radicals succeed, they constitute new oppositional governments that place them as actors in the dynamic political process, a factor in reshaping structures and agendas. Numerous examples come to mind. Such radicalism is to be distinguished from terrorist groups that may or may not be defined outcomes of such movements. Words have power through their distinctive meanings, and the complexity of contrasts is worthy of consideration in this case. Radicalism is different from radicalization. With radicalization, a source, possibly but not necessarily a criminal one, is changing the values or mindset of a subject. Often, and subject is weak, angry, or marginalized. What is confusing, however, is that many such subjects either lack those characteristics or hide them so as to remain undetected in its mindset form. Radicalization may lead to quietist advocacies or a return to roots. As we have witnessed only too frequently, it is most extreme case, radicalization may lead to destructive violence. Of great concern now is the violent extremism exposed by frustrated or marginalized youth who are enticed by globalized terrorist groups. These youth lack religious or ideological passions and are recruited for a variety of reasons that are still poorly understood. An appeal to purpose and escape from hopeless lives have been cited as explanations. The full analysis has yet to be revealed. The challenge before us is to understand the impulses that lead to violent extremism, and through that understanding to identify effective methods for preventing and de-radicalization. This is a common challenge of North and South. If blame there must be for the present state of affairs, we should all raise our hands. But this debate is not about a blame game. All of the countries we call home have to some degree suffered from and endured violent extremism. Action first and foremost is required. Action starts at the local and national levels, and certainly action is required at the global level. There is now an universal acceptance that prevention is key and that human rights compliant law enforcement is a central element in addressing violent extremism, although it is not the only answer. Further understanding is required, certainly, and we must deny temptation to simplify the analysis with gross measures of categorization. Accordingly, the thing needs to be emphasized at this juncture. As stated in the Joint Chairman's conclusions of the Geneva Conference of 8th of April 2016, violent extremism or terrorism cannot and should not be associated with any religion, nationality, civilization, or ethnic group. To deny this, in fact, would fuel the growth of our nemesis, violent extremism. 2 hours will not exhaust the discussion of the subject, even with the presence of such illustrators and knowledgeable panel members. We intend this debate to be followed by a longer meeting on the same theme in the second half of the year. I wish you all success in your deliberations and hope for an informative outcome. Thank you.